On our Business Movers segment this week, we are featuring the current president of IBM Philippines, who has made and continues to make milestone innovations in the IT industry, Mr. Luisito Pineda.
Born in Davao City of banker parents and educated at the Ateneo de Davao until the 6th grade, Luisito Pineda migrated with his family to Seattle, Washington back in the early 80s when insurgency was a serious threat to peace and order in his native province. For middle school, high school, and college, he and his younger brother studied at the University of Washington. What is amazing is that he can still speak Visayan and Tagalog, even now because his parents insisted on speaking the dialects at home. But life as new immigrants in the U.S. was not easy.
I was the only Asian kid in an all-black school. And, given that situation, they thought I was Bruce Lee and everybody tried to pick a fight with me. And, unfortunately, I was in a fight almost every week. I think it gave me the opportunity to strengthen myself and really face the adversity that I was facing back then. As I got older, interest changed and I had different hobbies.
Not only his hobbies, but also his dreams evolved as he matured.
I gravitated towards the technical field, engineering, and I ultimately became a computer scientist as a result of my exploration and really finding what I'm passionate about in college.
He earned his degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and pursued his master's degree, but fell short by 10 units to finish the course.
My career also took off without the master's, and I never pursued the last 10 credits of that education. But I also have a lot of interest. I'm an FAA certified licensed pilot.
At the University of Washington, he found an internship opportunity with IBM in Kingston, New York. And with that 6-month internship, he found fulfillment and fell in love with the company as well. After graduation, he was offered a job in 6 different locations, but wisely chose Silicon Valley in California.
They gave me a job that really tested information models. What this was a conceptual, logical, and physical model of how application development is done. And my job was to look at those models and make sure it represents the real world and test it that way. At first, it sounded exciting to me when I accepted the role, but as I got into the role, it was good, but it wasn't that exhilarating.
After only 3 months on the job, he quickly got bored with it, and his active mind got busy on something more productive.
What if I can create a tool that allows business people, not programmers, to create applications based on that information model?
He remembers that this crazy idea, as he calls it, happened on a Thursday, and that night and a few nights after, he didn't sleep until he was able to write and finish a full prototype of his idea.
When my manager came to work on Monday, I showed him this thing that I created over the last 4 days, and he dropped out of his seat. He said, this is such an innovative thing that you just created here. He dragged me to see his boss. His boss dragged me to see his boss until I came to the highest leader of that entire Silicon Valley lab. And the first thing he asked me, remember, this was 3 months into my employment. And the first thing he asked me was, what will it take to make this a released product? And I told him I didn't know better. I was only 3 months into the company. The first thing that came to my mind is, 6 people, 6 months. And he said, you got it.
He didn't realize that releasing a software production entailed at least a year with a much bigger team.
3/4 of the team was from the same batch I was. Young guys with, new ideas and passionate about getting something done. And in 6 months, we got it out as promised.
Luisito was only 23 years old at that time, barely out of college when he invented and successfully released with this team the Repository Manager Workbench. This highly innovative app improved the productivity of application creators 10 times.
It was actually quite a success that in the first customer we saw was actually a reseller of IBM. And what happened is the reseller liked the idea so much that they bought the entire thing, the entire rights, and they actually sold it themselves.
His first 6 years in Silicon Valley was spent on creating and working on products that he himself invented or co-invented, and he found these 6 years a very exciting time for him. He stayed on until another crazy idea hit him. This one had to do with his experience with McDonald's in his high school days.
If you look at McDonald's around the world, they have a very nice recipe for doing everything from putting up a store to doing their accounting to making hamburgers to operating an entire store. So, and that's the secret sauce of their success. They're able to replicate that everywhere. That's what I learned. The franchising concept is what I learned from McDonald's. And the technology part, I learned a lot from IBM and in school. And I put all that together, and I had the idea, why not create a software development and services franchise that I can build around the world that can serve customers around the world. That was my crazy idea. And I put that together in a slide.
He put everything in a slide and presented it to whoever was interested to hear about his new idea at IBM.
I got rejected many times. I also got a lot of ideas through those rejections. So I was able to refine the approach and the way to sell those ideas. And fortunately, after the 35th iteration, I came to an organization in IBM, actually a marketing organization in IBM in the mid-90s, trying to figure out how we penetrate the Chinese market. But I came in at the right time, and basically my pitch was, what if we built our first franchise in China?
IBM liked the idea and gave him a $2 million funding to put up this franchise. The problem was he did not know anyone in China.
But luckily, a friend of mine in my computer science class during college was Chinese and had a lot of contacts in China and connected me to Professor Ling of Tsinghua University. Professor Ling is the father of computer science in China. He's also, Tsinghua University is the MIT of China, so quite a prestigious school. Long story short, Professor Ling and I met. I pitched the idea, he loved it, and we built our first joint venture with Tsinghua University and IBM, therefore starting my first franchise in China.
From there, it grew fast and furious across the globe.
From Belarus, Minsk, Belarus, Egypt, Jordan, Latvia, Siberia, Novosibirsk, Siberia, Moscow, you name it. I had a franchise that I built doing development of software components as well as developing customized applications and solutions for clients around the world.
To date, he has been with IBM for 28 years doing everything from software development, operations and marketing, business development, and sales. He has been traveling around the globe for IBM, and now he has gone full circle and finds himself in the Philippines. He was in charge of technical support worldwide for IBM, and the company realized that they were in too many locations. It was time to rationalize and consolidate the global offices to achieve efficiency, and he was surprised to discover that the Philippines topped the consolidation list for putting up a technical support center.
Showed me what the work is like here, what working here is like, and exposed me to the talented people here in the Philippines and the great clients, as well as I had a chance to meet clients and partners as well. So not only did it rekindle my Philippine connection, because every time I come here in the past, it was vacation. It was really for vacation and leisure. It was really never for work. One thing led to another, the opportunity came, and so here I am in the Philippines running the company.
He had many adjustments to make, the most serious one being the traffic situation. But he also learned quickly how to be more productive while stuck in traffic.
IBM Philippines is actually doing quite well here, and there's several reasons for that. One is we're a trusted company here in the Philippines. We've been here 80 years.
IBM is the oldest IT company in the country. Global IBM has been around for 107 years. And in the IBM world, IBM Philippines is one of the oldest entities outside of North America.
Everything that we offer in the United States, for example, is offered here to our local customers, local client base. But what we also have here that differentiates us from the other IBMers or IBMs around the world is our global capability. We also service the world. We have a delivery and innovation center here in the Philippines who does high-value work for clients across the globe. High-value work such as finance and administration, supply chain management, finance and accounting, HR, right? Deep work, and we're even doing artificial intelligence in terms of Watson for oncology, helping clients around the world adopt artificial intelligence in cancer treatment. So I'm hiring doctors as well in the Philippines, IBM Philippines, to do that kind of work.
IBM divested its voice business in 2013 to allow it to grow even more and provide value-added services to its clients locally and worldwide. On a personal note, he still finds time to touch base with his old classmates in Ateneo de Davao and attend to some of his investments in Davao City. He has shifted to golf but laments that he has not continued his flying, which he loves most among his hobbies. He used to fly every weekend and is adept at anything that flies, from propellers to jets.
And I enjoy many things. I do regularly exercise. I focus on weight training now, and I do high intensity interval training and those type of things just to keep me balanced and have some me time, if you will.
He also loves traveling with his wife and 3 kids and spends precious bonding time with them.
Yeah, my message to the young leaders is actually a message that I got early in my career when, I was really chomping at the bits to get to the next level, I was highly ambitious. And it really killed me, actually, because, that was my definition of success, is to get to the next level. And a great mentor advised me, Louis, relax. Right? Enjoy the journey. And he told me, you're gonna get there. And that really changed my perspective. And then when I really took that advice to heart, my career actually moved faster.
You just met up close and personal Mr. Luisito Pineda, President of IBM Philippines, our featured business mover for this week.